Let's go. I'm such a perfectionist and I actually hate it. I actually hate it so much that I wanted to make a video, or rather videos, long time ago, and I think that I'm just gonna start doing it right now. There's like 1,000 things that bother me, and then I wanna find a perfect way, the how to go about it and do it. But there's one thing that's been coming up and kind of sitting at the end of my tongue that I think it's very valuable, and actually that I think it's perhaps one of the greatest lotteries that I won. It's about, why do I think one needs to have a purpose in life? How do I understand what it is? What could it mean for you in regards to why there's so many who actually struggle from depression? Now, I do want to just do this common disclaimer. I'm not a doctor. This is my own opinion. And there's many more variables that can come into the play. So don't take it for granted. But that being said, there's something that I noticed. And unfortunately, I had several sad encounters with some people who really didn't see much further in life than right now and had doubts as much as being suicidal. And actually, I know several who tried to kill themselves. And I think it's quite painful, maybe because I have a bit too much of an empathy, but I feel like I can relate a lot to that. And the difference that I noticed that I have that those people did not necessarily have is that they didn't really have something that they're very driven. And I don't want to impose to anyone that someone should live, think, do particular way, because I think we all need to find our own journey. So I'll be talking in the first person perspective, but at the same time, I think it's something that could be beneficial to so many potential of you watching. And if at least helps to one person, I think the thing that I'm doing here, it's going to make me feel happy and fulfilled. And I think this is so cool that I even have such an opportunity to do something like that. So something that I notice I have a lot, and when someone asks me what my purpose is, I actually don't know. I know one thing, that I come from rather a poor family. Well, I always had a roof above my head and I had food, so I weren't starving. But there weren't much more than that, let's say. And one of the big things is, for me, I work using my mind. I'm a developer. I'm a software developer, a programmer, call it whatever. And I want to use that to build apps, to build solutions, to build software, whether being someone's full-time software developer, employee, or building my own things on the side that I find very passionate, or rather, I would say even extremely passionate if I compare, and monetize them, to find a way how I can combine this knowledge that we live in the ocean of. The promise of internet, and I feel like this 2000 bubble that happened when I was around the time I was born, was that we're gonna have all this information available to us, right? And we have a lot available. We have ChatGPT right now. Like, this is insane. If you actually think how much you can learn and how much you can get information, I think it's mind-blowing. Is it going to replace people right now? Maybe not. Let's not go there. I have weakness for talking on tangents. But it definitely has such a profound help if you want to learn something. And whatever you want to become, whatever you want to try, whatever you want to discover, what you like to do, the information is out there. And I think it's also one of the greatest times to be alive if you really think about it. My grandparents, if I remember right, I feel like they had this little TV where it was like grayscale, right? You couldn't see much. There was no sound. But I think in before that was the most they've seen the technical advancement, right? Of course, the radio, etc. Sorry, grandparents, not my grandparents. Of course, she's still alive, so I'm a bit bullshitting her, as I do sometimes. Essentially, and then think parents, how they grew up, your parents, whoever you're watching, and then where we have now. I have a computer, I have a phone, I can be on an airplane watching a Netflix show. Before, people would have cinemas that didn't have sound. Then they had sound, but not everyone could afford, right? A limited selection of movies. There was all things going on. And I mean, this is just to put in a nutshell. We have so much, and yet we take it for granted. And of course, there's a lot of these softwares that chasing for our attention and abusing and actually having a negative impact on our mental health, which is no longer a surprise or news. But having all these available resources and being passionate about something, I don't really know where that passion comes, to be honest, which something is like kind of a mystery. Whenever I work on something, it starts seeing opportunities or something. For example, I fly often with Wizz Air, and I had a couple of times where it happened that I just forgot to check in on time, and then I had to pay fee in the airport, right? That fee in the airport is times bigger. And actually it had happened. It was much bigger than the ticket I booked both ways. And it was such a painful lesson, let's say. I was like, okay, let's build an app where I take a screenshot of my booking and then it sends me SMS because I turn off all the other notifications, right? And then I will remember to check in. This is an example, right? I don't end up doing this. I don't think it's actually that reasonable financially. I did some other things, actually, maybe one too many. But there's so many opportunities where you go and work in the software, etc. Think of Uber Eats, Wolt food delivery, depending on the country of watching it, of course, varies. There are numerous things. And I think it also kind of gives a lot of hope in this purpose. Like if I want to use my mind to build products that, of course, bring finances, that therefore allow me to explore more of the world, see more of different cultures, travel, uplift myself in terms of education by working on these different fields, different projects, solving different projects and problems. It's so infinite, I would say. And now I'm recording this quite ironically in the middle of a second burnout, right? Where I feel that I just had too much passion. There was enough progress. Maybe it's the same as I had the first time. But I also see that this is something that kind of keeps me getting up out of the bed every morning, go to the gym, do the routine thing, because you know that it's going to get better, that other points higher. And this is what is so also difficult to put into words, but I think if there are not other issues, of course, there are people who struggle with health issues physically or mentally, and they're very real and it can happen and it fucking sucks, to be honest. But this is one of the big pillars that if this one is big, I think it has such a huge play. And when you take these days where you're demotivated away or you're underperforming, you're exhausted, you burn out, etc., you can be an absolute, I need to be careful with the word, the most average person, right? Very intellectually unimpressive, let's say, right? Like at the bottom of average. But the secret is that you can outperform out there the best, out there who are gifted or something like that, just by working harder and continuing to do so when the talent doesn't work. This is one of the quotes I really love. And another one that I really love, it's actually this quote I got from Will Tennyson. He's a fitness influencer, really cool guy. And another one is, the way you can outperform anyone who seemingly won this genetic lottery or a rich family or opportunity lottery is by being able to endure and persist the pain of the situation you are much longer than someone else. Because that's the difference where it sets you if you start here and someone who is gifted and starts here, right? But if you start here and you can endure going further, that's all you need, right? You only need to be one ahead. It's like if a lion is chasing a group of people, you don't have to be the fastest one. You only need to be not the slowest one above, right? And I think it's like, world is cruel in a way, but I think having this belief and having this infinitive source of passion and stuff is like, there was a point where I felt suicidal as a child and I haven't really talked to anyone about it. But I feel like ever since that, I just feel like it's impossible. It's too much. There are too many opportunities that I can do, too much that I should do, and I can help people, and I definitely can make their lives better and all of that by the means of software solutions and what I do best. Not necessarily limited to that. I might have 1-2 good ideas, And I think this is the biggest blessing. There's no antidepressant, there's no SSRI, there are some serotonin increase pills or something that can give this, I would say, state of mind that when you feel like you have purpose by combining the passion, what you like to do, and the knowledge where you're consistently getting better. And I feel like this is a blessing. And I hope this video finds, well, whoever will be watching it. So what can I say? Peace out.